So today's video is like, why are posts getting no clients? So I want to kind of go pretty deep around what actually makes someone read a post, watch a post, listen to a podcast episode of yours, then actually buy. And if you don't have this right, it's gonna just be way harder to get clients. And like there's really no post, like well, no point. Like if my post's not getting love, I'm not gonna be making posts. I'm gonna be doing something else to get clients, right? So if you're gonna be taking the time to do posting, this is stuff's gonna be effective. Now, also, if you ever want some help growing your tax planning or your bookkeeping business, and maybe even trying, but just not quite going the way you want, if you felt that, an outside eye or outside help would be helpful for you, go ahead and click the link inside the description above or below the video. Book a call with myself. Let's see if I can help you in our mentorship program. So let's attack this thing. So number one, okay, so it's gonna be your call to action. Now, call to action is going to be the most important part of getting someone to book. If you don't have a call to action, if your marketing is not very strong, you don't have a very warm audience, no one's gonna book a call with you. You have to constantly be telling people what is the next step inside of a process of working with you. Without that, you're always gonna be just kind of like, oh, why is my post not working? Why is no one reaching out to me? Why is no one booking a call? Do people even care about my stuff? And it's just very, very frustrating. Now, this was frustrating for me. Like all this stuff is stuff that I have said, right? When I was starting my business back in 2015, I was trying to do blogs, I was doing like LinkedIn posting, Facebook posting. I was just trying to post and just get as many clients to come in as possible. They really didn't. It wasn't until I spent a lot of money on like posts, posting, mentors that show me how to write. I even paid for people to like make posts for me, and we'll talk a little more about that in a couple minutes. But that's number one, okay? So what we're going to call to action CTAs for short. So that's going to be a slang as CTA, call to actions. So number one, you're not putting your call to actions in enough places based on the social media platform. I got interviewed yesterday by this person who was like, every month I like choose someone inside of one of my school groups to kind of like do an audit or whatever of their their business. So he was showing me his Instagram account, and I clicked on like in the Instagram, there's usually like a bio, right? At the bio, it gives you an option to like put a link to something. He was linking a random Instagram page. I was like, wait, so if someone's interested in working with you from Instagram, how can they book a call with you? He goes, what do you mean? I said, well, in your post, you usually can't link unless you have like 10,000 followers, then you can do like the swipe ups in your stories. But you don't really post stories. And the only place you could have a link for someone to book a call would be in the bio. So why don't you have a link to your call calendar inside of your bio? He's like, oh, I didn't even think about that. It's like, well, yeah. So it's like, no wonder you're not getting any calls booked from your LinkedIn or from your Instagram. There's no way someone physically could book a call unless they reached out to you. And most people are not going to reach out to you, to do it, especially if your posts are not very strong. So that's number one. Same thing on Facebook. You need to have it in like the top left-hand corner. There's like a spot for like your bio. And put it in there on all your posts. Put in like a link to book a call on your cover photo. Put in a link to book a call inside the cover photo description. Same thing with your profile photo, right? Same thing on LinkedIn. Your about section should have a link. Your cover photo in the description should have a link. Your experience section should have a link. Like people should be able to click on a Calendly or Schedule Once link and be taken to your calendar so they can schedule a call. Now, Calendly has a free option. You can do one appointment for free. So if you don't really, want to spend a lot of money on that, okay, cool. If you're going to start a business, you're going to have to spend money. It's just the key thing. If you either can spend money, then do the free stuff. But if you have money just being stingy, you're not gonna make it in a lot of cases. Like people can kind of feel and kind of tell like when you actually put money behind your business. Like for me, for example, for my YouTube channel, I have like two $900 cameras right here. I have a third one up in my other one. I have like a fourth one in like my downstairs filming studio. So it's like that's like 6 grand worth of like cameras like right there, right? So it's like no wonder people want to pay for like my video content and like why people come to me for like video advice because I invest heavily into this stuff. Everything that I talk about, I've invested very heavily into it, whether it's for knowledge to like learn courses, whether it's equipment, whether it's advertisements, that's the only way you're gonna be successful in this stuff long term. So number one, okay, not enough places. So we'll check that out. Next, you're not using the correct call to action for the post type that you're using. So there's really four, maybe five main types of posts, right? There's going to be a comment for value. So that's like, hey, I made a new guide, or hey, I'm looking to help out five people. Comment below if you're interested in receiving help or receiving this guide. Okay. The call to action is comment below. But if instead you say, hey, I have a guide, and you don't tell people how to like make actually like reach out and like get it, they're just not going to do it, right? Another one, or you could be missing it up. So like, hey, if you want this guide, send me a message. It's probably not the best to do a send me a message call to action for that because anytime that you see there's a guide, the more people that you see are asking for this guide, the more likely more people are to do it. So your call to action there should be comment below because you want social proof that that people want the guide, right? If it's like one of those posts where it's like, hey, if you want to like work directly with me, send me a message. That's good because you don't want people to see if you have a low amount, right? So let's say you have 100 people in your audience and you say, like a post like, hey, if you want help with your tax planning, send me a message. That's good because you're probably going to get one person reaching out to you. So you don't want people to see that like you make a post about people working with you and only have one person doing it. It's going to actually have a reverse image on your brand because no one wants to work with you, right? So to get something free, you want it public. You want social proof. If it's something where you're selling and in private, you want that to be private so no one can see your lack of results in the beginning. And like that's not to be like mean. It's like oftentimes to get to like six figures in tax planning, it's not that like it doesn't look that exciting. Like let's say that your goal is to get to like 100K, right? So you're selling your tax plans for an average $5,000. Okay, you get 20 people throughout the year. That's less than what is that? One every 10 days. What is that? It's let's say you're gonna work about 300 days out of the year. So your goal is 20 clients divided or 300 days divided by 20 clients. You're gonna get a client once every 15 days. So a lot of people think like you're gonna get this like just rush of people coming in. Like it's not like taxes. It's not like tax prep. Let's say like that. So tax planning is going to be a higher level service, but it's going to be a lower volume of people signing up. That's part of the reason why it's why people like it, right? Because like you don't need that many clients to make a really good amount of money. But it doesn't look that exciting on the outside. You're not gonna be that person that has like a million people coming to you paying you like $100 a month, right? If you want to do more tax prep, do that. But if you're trying to like really free up your time and make a really good amount of money without necessarily having to do a lot of like manual work, then this is kind of the model you go for. Another type of post, okay, so let's say it's like a story post, right? So like having a story post where it talks about like, send a message to connect or book a call with me to see if I can help you out, right? So you have to know kind of what is the right call to action for the post that you're making. Also for the platform. On Instagram, for example, you can't say, hey, click this link in this post because the links are not clickable, right? So it'd be like, hey, go see the link in bio to book a call, see if I can help you, right? That's important. Next thing is going to be congruence, okay? So if you say in your post, like you should have a very consistent naming convention. For me, for example, if I'm on like YouTube or whatever, I'm gonna say like, hey, book a call with me, see if I can help you out, right? And a lot of cases, if you click that link, it's gonna take you to a planning call, right? Because we're gonna make a plan about how I can help you. But if I was to say, okay, cool, this is like a consultation call, and then you go click on like the booking link and it says free audit, those are gonna be like there's gonna be a disconnect. You're like, wait, is this a free audit? Is this a consultation call? Like, what is this I'm getting into? And that would cause less people to actually like book a call, and it causes people to like, just not really go, it doesn't convert as high as what it could. Okay. So next thing is the time frame you say that the appointment should take should match up with the appointment setting on your calendar. I'll give you an example. So let's say that you say your posts are like in your post, you say, hey, book a call with me for a 15-minute call to see if I can help you out. They click the link to book the call on your calendar. Your calendar says 1 hour meeting. Those are drastically different people. A person who would sign up for a 1 hour meeting versus a 15-minute meeting are totally different. So if you would have just told it like, hey, a 30-minute meeting, and the post says 30 minutes meetings, then you have your calendar setting also be 30 minutes. The people that click on the page that are looking for to spend 30 minutes with you would spend that, and you're gonna have a higher percentage of people booking a call with you, right? But having a 15 an hour or an hour then 15, it causes some kind of mismatch. Like you want things to be as smooth as possible when people are moving towards working with you. And part of doing it very smoothly is by making sure there's this congruent, okay? The moment that you have people start saying like, wait, what? And they have to like think about it and like they say like this doesn't match up, that's when you start getting a lot of objections that are just like they're not really real objections. It's just people have like a lot of like random fears and things that they kind of allow to stop them from doing the right things in life and in business because like maybe they don't know what they're doing, they're nervous, they're scared, and like subconsciously they're looking for a reason not to do something. Especially if they don't really know you that well, especially if they're not watched other content and they're just kind of like lukewarm when it comes to you, right? So you got to make sure your stuff is tight. It's got to match. It's got to be good. Okay. Next thing. Also, your direct posts with a CTA are too unclear. So we'll call it direct post CTA are too unclear. Why should someone book a call with you? Now, if you have a lukewarm audience, this is really, really, really important, right? If you have a warm audience, it's not as important because you can just say book a call and then people like do it, right? But the less someone knows about you, the more precise. That's why I say lukewarm. Like they just don't know that much about you. They haven't watched that much content or read that much content from you. They don't really trust you. They don't really like you that much. It's just they're kind of on the fence, right? So in your call to actions, it needs to be very specific. Are you doing an account audit? What does an account audit mean? Like, what is the benefit of them doing this with you? Is it just for them to directly book a call, like to see if like your service can be helpful for them? Or if they want a tax plan, they should book a call with you. Like, what is the specific thing that someone will get or would want to get as a result of booking the call? Now, again, if someone already wants to buy from you, it's okay to say, book a call to buy from me. That is okay to do. I used to think when I was starting out that I couldn't say that the reason why they wanted to book a call was because I wanted to sell them something. So I thought, it had to be a game plan to offer some value. You don't really have to offer value if you're precise and if you're clear about that up front. Like I'm not just gonna give you free advice on this call. This is a call to see if you can help if I can help you out. It's very precise and like you're gonna get a lower amount of people actually like booking a call with you, but the people that do book the call are going to actually want to buy from you right away. So you're kind of trading off bad volume with really high precision, right? A lot of people are like trying to like take this sniper rifle. They're trying to like find the best quality leads, but it's not really like that. It's like your job is to get leads that are quality to a certain degree, and you make them better quality by just by making them someone that's willing to pull the trigger with working with you. So by the time they get to the phone call, it should be a sniper rifle. But before they get to the call, you should be taking a machine gun, right? Or AK-47 and like laying down suppressing fire. So you're getting more and more higher quality of person over time because you're naturally, for every 100 people you bring in, you're going to get anywhere between like 10 to 20 very, very high quality people just as a result of just putting yourself out there, right? But if you're always shooting for like one, two, three, four, five, you're never gonna have enough lead volume to create the social proof that you are a person of interest that's gonna cause people to start working with you. So just kind of be aware of that when you're thinking about like prospecting, you're thinking about like, people that are reaching out to you. Um, But yes, that's direction. Direct. Be very, very clear, very precise. We do not want to mismatch between what a person's expecting and what a person gets from on the call. One of the most annoying things on a call is like when a person shows up and they're like, "Oh, I thought this was a free information call. I thought you were gonna like, give me a bunch of free information." And it's just like that's just annoying, right? So the way you prevent that is by telling them very clearly, like there's no outside value. This is strictly to see if I can help you. Very simple. And if you want to even take it a step further, instead of saying like if I can help you, see if I can make a tax plan for you. Because some people like the less money people make, the more they kind of confuse help with free, right? So it really depends, right? For me, for my warm audience, I'll say like if I can help you because it's like it's most of those people already want to buy, so they just need an excuse to get on the phone with you. Versus they don't want to buy, and it's more about like really building that value. You want to be precise. Cool. Next thing, you have no framework to increase urgency. So what do I mean by that? Why should someone get started with you now? What if it's like you're sitting in August and someone's like, "Oh, I'll just wait till the beginning of next year to get started with you." Like, can you find any like reasons for someone to get started with you? So I'm looking at logical. I'm looking at emotional, I'm looking at time-based, I'm looking at the law, right? So there are certain codes that are very time sensitive. And it's like, it's gonna take a long time for you to do like the cost segregation, for example. You can't do that in one day. So you gotta set that up ahead of time. Okay. Number two could be time-based. So there's certain deadlines. If they don't have things done by this deadline, okay, it's not gonna work, right? Or you could say, I stopped taking clients after April. So if you're not already like started with me by this time, I'm not taking clients with you, and I shut down my shop for the whole year. So you want to like become a new client and you want me to help you out throughout this year, you have to get started by this XYZ date. Like you can theoretically make that date up anywhere. So like you could be like, yeah, so it's June 31st. I stopped taking on new clients on July 15th, right? And then, you of course you want to make that like as truthful as possible. You don't just want to like have like a rolling like every 30 days. You say, this is the last month I'm taking on clients because number one, it's not gonna be effective. Number two, you can get in trouble with the law because like you're really lying to people. And then number three, if it's in a public environment, like let's say you have like a YouTube channel and someone can go back in time and see every single month you move the deadline, now you kind of lose credibility with that deadline and just kind of like is limited. So as much as possible, use a real deadline, a real time-based thing. Also, talk about logics. Like it wouldn't be really a plan is proactive, not reactive. So you get people to understand why proactive planning is better than reactive planning, then that will work as well. Also, you can use emotional, like, hey man, you're working so hard this year. If you don't get this thing done right away, you're working so hard. You're not really working for yourself anymore. You're working for the government, right? And just utilize stuff like that. Like some people really hate that. So it's like if you can really weaponize that and like make the tax man the enemy, right? And now you two are working together to defeat the enemy. That's a really good thing as well. Um, Next, no logical or emotional plea after the CTA. So for a lukewarm audience, it's really important, right? Because it's like sometimes people will see your call to action, but they'll be like, "Oh, maybe later." Or, I don't know. It's not like they don't really have. They're kind of like stagnant, or they're kind of like dormant. So it's not until you kind of really shake them and cause them to want to move, they'll actually like move forward towards you or with you. So having a logical reason afterwards, this kind of goes back to urgency, but this is even like stronger than urgency, right? Because urgency is more of like why I should do it now, but these logical or emotional pleas are like why I should just do it, period, right? Because it's like someone could want to do it now, like, oh, this is urgent, but then they just, oh, I'll just wait for tomorrow, right? Because it's not quite the deadline. This really changes the way someone thinks about your service and just thinks about life, where it's like, capturing the moment to make sure that they're actually moving forward towards what is the right thing for them, right? And if you can get really good at this, then it makes it super easy for you to get clients consistently. Like for example, like one reason why people buy my mentorship program, like towards the end of the year and beginning of the year, is because like if you don't get this stuff moving correctly, it's gonna really pass you by. You're gonna miss out the bulk of like the tax plans that could be actually like gotten, right? So that's why people join the mentorship program like sooner rather than later. Because if they wait, it's not that it's harder to get clients in August. It's just it's not as on top of people's minds, so you have less procrastination objections. People, if they get on the phone with you, they're more ready to get started now rather than like waiting for 6 months to a year. Like that's what's going to happen during June and April, or sorry, June through August. Which there is a way where you can get people to put down a deposit for your tax plan and then come back when they're ready, right? So you can still be cash flow positive on every single meeting you do. Next thing, I like to bury the CTA. So what does that mean? So let's say you have like blah 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 CTA blah 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 CTA blah 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 blah. Right? So it's within the content. So if someone was to like see a written post of yours, if the last thing they see is a call to action, then they actually negate that the whole value inside of it is actually helpful for them. They just think, oh, this person's just talking just to try and sell me something. So if instead you have fluff or whatever, fluff, they think, okay, this is a valuable post, I can share it. Gets more people sharing. Okay, burying CTA will get more people to share it, and that just makes it a little bit simple. I learned that from a pretty prominent internet marketer who was doing that. He's like, yeah, you never put the call to action in because then people won't share. It's like, oh, that makes sense. Makes total sense, and it works very well. Yeah. So those are call to actions. Again, the better you can get at these call to actions, the easier it's going to be for you to be able to get people to see a post, like your stuff, want to buy from you. If you don't have this can decimate your ability to get clients. Because remember, it's not a lot of you're not going to get a lot of opportunities. You're going to get a small number of people that want to pull the trigger. So since it's so small, you don't have a lot of room for error. Okay. Now, if you've been trying to make content, it's just not working. If you have heard about these call to actions before, but you just don't know how to do it yourself, or don't know how to structure it, but you want help, click the link inside the description above or below the video to book a call with myself. Let me see if I can help you inside of our program. Okay. I will talk to you soon. Have a good rest of your day. Take it easy.